do you think the media is reporting the nuclear debate that we're supposed to be having?
Really behind the eight ball. I think that they're irresponsible. I think that on the whole they're uninformed. I think that often they're lazy. I think it requires a lot of research to understand what they're writing about on this issue, and they simply have not done it. A, and B, they're not giving equal time to opposite points of view, although they will claim they are, they're not. So Ziggy Switkowski, who's the mouthpiece for Howard, who's paid, I suppose, a lot of money, he is on the air all the time. And I rang up Tony Jones after Ziggy had 20 minutes, and he said, well, would you like to debate him? I said, no, I don't want to debate him. I want equal time that he had, and that didn't happen. So I guess that's an illustration of what I'm talking about. Similarly, the newsprint papers are not reporting adequately what is going on at all, and a lot is happening.
Is there a particular area of the debate you think that is missing?
Well, it's a very large area that's not being covered in Australia. A, the Halliburton railway line, I talked about last night. B, that it's run by Serco Asia Pacific, which is a big British nuclear waste company. C, that the land grab is almost certainly about storing nuclear waste and taking that land from the Aborigines, and there's a lot of uranium up there. It's got nothing to do with child abuse, as we heard last night. D, that he wants to build 25 reactors on the east coast, only in electorates which would be conducive to having nuclear power. I guess they're coalition electorates. Of the 13 electorates up and down the east coast that would be suitable for nuclear power, 12 are coalition-held seats. They're not saying that nuclear power uses 1 million gallons a minute of water to keep it cool in a drought-ridden country. That's not appropriate. If the river levels fall and the nuclear power's on the river and you can't cool it properly, it will melt down. If the ocean levels rise and the nuclear power plant is on the ocean, the control room will drown and there'll be a meltdown. So global warming mitigates against nuclear power. That's not coward. We've reached peak oil. What do we do when we run out of oil and future generations are left with our mess? Huge vats of radioactive waste with no way to store it safely or transport it. So that's the legacy we're leaving. They're not reporting the fact that the Liberal Party voted recently to support the importation of foreign radioactive waste. So did the Liberal Women's Organisation vote to support. They're not voting the fact that they're not covering the fact that the Parliament under Howard, his executive powers, are to revoke laws which prohibit foreign radioactive waste in Australia, enrichment in Australia, nuclear power in Australia, and reprocessing. They're not reporting that very serious situation. They're not reporting that about the GNEP, which I wrote about in yesterday's Korea Mail. Did you see it? No. You need to read it. Global Nuclear Energy Partnership, set up by the Department of Energy in America, says that certain countries like Japan, America, Britain, I think, and Russia, but you'll have to look it up, will export fuel rods to other countries and bring back the irradiated fuel rods to America so that other countries can't get from those fuel rods plutonium to make bombs. You've got to read my book. So that mitigates against proliferation. And then they will reprocess that spent fuel. Now what that means is you chop up the fuel rods, literally, then you melt them in concentrated nitric acid, and from that incredibly, horrendously radioactive solution, you remove plutonium, which is the fuel for bombs. They want to build a Generation 4 reactors, which has been in our media. That's what City's pushing for, Generation 4, which are fueled with 5 to 15 tonnes of plutonium, when 5 kilos is critical mass. There was a man who brought together 2 hemispheres of plutonium, about 2.5 kilos each, during the Manhattan Project. He brought them together and he disappeared because he created a nuclear explosion. So that if you have a reactor with 15 tonnes of plutonium, which is cooled by liquid sodium, which, if you understand chemistry, is reactive explosive if exposed to air, and you get a crack in the pipe, you lose your coolant. Not only will the plutonium melt down because it's got no coolant like 3 Mile Island and Chernobyl, but there will be a massive explosion, nuclear explosion, the likes of which we've never seen on Earth.